Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Now it's public. Cancel. This was streaming 15 minutes without any viewer. So I looked at the settings and it turned out it was not public. I don't know what happened. Really weird. I'm coding every day, Calcio. Yeah, I'm like worried a bit. Well, at least you saw my stream now, right? Let me check again here. What the hell is going on here? YouTube.com. Ah, there I am again. Okay, I don't know. They just removed me suddenly from the front page. Now, from every page it seems. I don't think they even sent an email or the notification to my subscribers because nobody joined. Okay, now I have 4 viewers. That's going better. Yep, unfortunately I think I have to fix my random partition generator as well. Because it is influenced by the number of sets. So here you see how partitions are generated. Yeah, 14, 11, well, it's gonna ramp up very quickly now. So I have A as first element, and then I can put either the next element, B, in the same set, or I can put B separate in a new set. Elsewhere I have comments where my sets are in braces, and here I use a comma, but well, it works. So then, starting with AB, I can put C in the same set or separately. And starting with AB, you can put C together with A or together with B or separately. And what I wanted to change that I want to do now, I even need an E, I'm afraid. Because I could use a very small font here. Or maybe split it up. Let me see. I can put them vertically, I guess, instead of horizontally. Is that going to work? Yeah, it has to work. So B, C, D, and then E in the same thing. Or A, B, C, D, and E separately. And this is going to be a bit big. How many spaces? One more. Let's try 2 spaces. It's not going to work, right? Not enough space to put spaces. Okay. We're going over the edge. I'll try it with 1 space. I don't know. 1 extra space. Or I'll have to make the font small for a bit. It's not going to fit. That fits just. Right, now then here we get A, B, C, E. Or, just copy this. What? Yeah, okay, then not. I'll use my mouse. Finally I see the light. I have to copy everything at once. And then just paste it. A couple of times, maybe even one more, I don't know. Okay, so the next element, E, can be put in the same one or together with E or on its own. And here we have E or on its own. Hardly enough space. This can become this is sort of a game engine, say. Loop master. Let's see, here we have E, 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 E. And then I get here E, E, E. E, E, E. E, E, and E. Yeah, it's probably more work than necessary, but you know, I just want to have it complete here. So let me finish this. So this, I have two sets here. A and BCD are set, so I can add it to A or to BCD or on its own. And there's no fourth. And the reason that there is no fourth is because we start with two sets. This one has three sets, so now we get four sets in total, namely adding it to one of those three or then adding it on its own. Yeah, let's put it like that, and this one can be three sets, so again we get 1, 2 and 3, and on its own. And again 1, 2, 3, and on its own. Magically it fits only just, what? Okay. Did. Oh, not here, but well, I need two more. E, 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 or oh no. I blame YouTube. We're using this large font. Right, so that's all the E's, and now the trick here is that Okay, let me explain it as this for, I mean, I explained it before, but in a different stream, so I'm gonna assume that the viewers that are here did not see that. The idea is that I need to know, I want to generate random partitions with a uniformly distributed distribution. And that I do that by starting with the A and then choosing which branch I want to go to, this one or that one. And in order to choose correctly, randomly, I have to know how many partitions are below that. So this table is used to, well, table that, as it were. So suppose I'm here and I want to know how many partitions exist with A, B, C, D and E in it that originate from this one. Well, first we have to add a D and then we get one of these 4, and then we have to add an E, so we get one of these 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4, 16, 17. So we must find a 17 somewhere. Now I'm confused. This would be starting with 3. Oh, the 17 is not there because I did not make that table. So let's make the table that starts with 3 top sets. Let's just duplicate this one. So we start with 3 top sets. Yep, that's 1, 2, 3 here. Different sets. And then we have zero sets with, sorry, 0 partitions with 2 sets. And we have 1 with 3 sets. So the top row looks like this. The rest we have to fill in. Well, actually we only get more sets. And so this whole column here is 0. Now this becomes 3, this is just a table of 3, 9, 27. Really? Do I have to calculate that? How much is 3 times 27? 81, of course, yeah. 81. Diagonally we get 1s here. This becomes 7. And this becomes 12. This becomes, still have to do these ones. So the way I know what comes here is because if I have 4 sets that I start off with, sorry, yeah, I have 4 sets that I start off with, there will be 4 results that have still 4 sets, namely when I put a new element in the same set. So say we have 4 sets being A, B, C and D, and we put E together with A or B or C or D, then the result is still something with 4 sets. So then we stay in this column. And we have 7 partitions that have 4 sets. So that is going to give me 4 times 7 is 28 results. But one line above it, we have 9 partitions that have 3 sets. And then I put the E on its own. So that increments the 3 to the 4. So this 9 must also be added to that. So what I have here is 4 times 7 plus 9. And that's 37, I think. Or is it 4 times 7? plus 9 is 37. Oh, is this filled in? Oh, I already did that. So 1 times 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 times 5 plus 37. 97. Oh, what the heck, I already see the 17. But fill in the whole table. 37 plus 27. 175. Yep, and then the total number of partitions on this depth is, well, we started with 1. Directly below that we have 3 plus 1 is 4. And then 9 plus 7 plus 1 is 17. And then we get here 27 plus 37 plus 12 is 76. And okay, the last one we don't do. So there's my 17. And that is then table top sets is 3, because we start with 3. And then we add 2 elements, D and E. So adding 2 elements means that the depth is 2. You should rename depth to added number of elements, but that would be a much longer variable. And the resulting number of partitions is 17, right? So if you count all these, it's 4 times 4 is, wait. No, just this block here. 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4 is 16 is 17. Now we could do it again, say for this one, 2. And then 1, 2, 3 down. And that this AB results in all of these. Right? And what is below that? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Times 3 is 18, plus those 2 is 20. I'm not having a 20 here. Top set is 2, depth is 1, well, 3. I should have 37. Okay, let me see. Oh, this one is this is also generated from the AB. So plus what it had 20 plus 17, 37. Yeah, so that's this 37 here. Adding 3 elements to a partition with 2 sets. Okay, now we're going to adjust it because my algorithm is going to change in that I set a limit on the number of allowed sets. How to do that? That means, let me see, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4 still. Okay, let's say that we only allow 3 sets, no, 4 sets, I think. Sorry, this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, this is 4. 4, 4, yeah, I have only 1, 5, so let's not allow 4 sets. Let's We only not allow 5 sets, and we would only lose this one. That's not really telling me much. So we disallow 4 sets. I wish I could highlight them. Well, I can semi-highlight them, I guess. 4 sets means that we have a brace, and then we have something that is not a brace. Any number of times. Sorry, not a brace. Any number of times. Wait, not a brace and not a comma. That works, right? Yep. Oops. Any number of times, and then I wish I could do extended regular expressions, but no, we cannot. I don't think so. So I have to retype this. That's another comma. Sorry, I didn't add a comma here. Comma. And then we get again stuff. Well, that stuff is just a. Yeah, it must be A to Z, whatever. Comma. A to Z. Comma. And then again A to Z. Brace. Close. Why do I even need this here? This will be A to Z. So these are the ones that we disallow, and then also this one. What does that mean? That means that, for example, the number of the table stays exactly the same unless I am having 3 elements, because then I cannot add a E in on its own, which would result in 4. So this block here, I put them below each other, belongs to this one. This has 3 elements, and therefore 1 drops off. And this one has 3 elements, as 1 drops off. And this has 3 elements, therefore 1 drops off. This has 3 elements, therefore 1 drops off. And this one has 4 elements, and therefore it doesn't exist. So it just becomes just everything is gone, so including that one. So it becomes just empty. How can I see it in my table? So now I want to see the column below 4 must become 0. That's clear. But it's mostly the yeah, well, actually nothing changes. Wait a minute, nothing changes. It's simply that what is below 4 is 0. 3 is still whatever it was. It's that easy. I'm stupid, really. How much time did I just waste making this beautiful ASCII art? Yeah, okay. But at least we did figure it out. We figured it out. So the result is very easy. We just cut it off. The table must stop at 4. And therefore the sum here becomes less. The sum becomes 14, and this one becomes 42, and so on. That's the only beep change. Returns a reference into the cache for a given top sets, depth and sets. Let me see. Do I want to change my cache? Nah. Let's not make it too difficult. I'm just gonna put 0 in the cache in this case. Although I think I'm testing for 0 something or somewhere. No, not from the cache. Cache does not contain 0, so I'm not going to test it, therefore I can put 0 in. Zip. Well, we have, let me see, this is the number here, is this triangle. The triangle here, so that triangle gets cut off. So yeah, the formula changes. That's too difficult, I don't feel like it. So we can leave that. Then this is also correct. And this is a simply table entry, so is that also correct then? I think so. Top set depth sets, yep. Because the table is not really changing. It's the only well. I want to put 0 in it. Okay, so maybe I should return 0 when I pass set is too high. Unfortunately, this thing is static. Okay, so it's suddenly not static anymore. That's annoying. Well, it is static. Therefore, I do not want to change this function even. Because it is static, we do not know what the maximum number of sets is. Leave this function alone. Still the same table. Number of partitions. Print table also static. This print table is static. Do we finally get something that is not static? Here we have something that is not static. And our random. Oh wait, this is something else. The only thing that is not static is random. And random is calling number of partitions, I think. It's not calling table, is it? Let's see. Print table. Yeah, random is calling number of partitions. And now I jump to the top. And who is calling table? Print table is calling it. Oh well, it can. I'm allowing it. Yep, now we go to the top. So I can leave table alone. The number of partitions is returning a sum. This is a sum. It runs to max number of elements. And when we reach 0, then we are done, so we might as well stop. But now I'm going to change this one into, well, let's pass the maximum number of sets. I think it's just this loop must change, right? We get the table for some sets, but we should not get the value from the table where sets is too large. Yep, I'm abusing the maximum number of elements again for confusing it again, I would almost say. It's really a number of sets here. Yeah, might as well fix print table then. Also and the depth is max number of elements minus top sets. Depth is really related to elements. How is top sets related to elements? And you run again over sets. So I guess this is at least the maximum number of sets. Not really understanding this one here. Well, we can just print it and see what happens. I guess it should just work the way it is now. Right, I think I have two of these, right? I have a number of partitions here, and we have table here, and again number of partitions here. And this one takes 1, 2, 3. And this one now also takes 1, 2, 3. That's not going to work. Let's rename one of them. Gonna rename this one to per set. Nah. Number of partitions for a given number of sets. Let's call it with sets. So the last argument is just the number of sets and not the maximum number of sets. And it is with sets, otherwise it's this one. And here we pass only 2. So here we now have to pass maximum number of sets. And here we have also 2. So this must be M, maximum number of sets. And that's defined in partition task. Yeah, and then I have to add my extra argument to number of partitions that had only 2 and to the print table. I did not rename it in the header. Let's do a quick test. Can I call print table? How do I call print table? Top sets and maximum number of sets. It's a static function. Just call it. Okay. What depth is this using then? The depth runs to, okay, maximum number of elements, but that's a lot. That's 64. Nope, you don't want that. Way too much. Let's do depth up till and including 4. That would be enough. I don't even have more things to compare it with. So let's do depth. I think this works, and if I do 4 here. I'm not sure. We have to pass the number of elements, I think. So let's do 3 and 8 or something like that. So that's, I don't know. Is the 3 causing me to start with 2 zeros? So, oh, the first one is the number of top partitions. Okay, I'm getting it. So I begin with 1, and that doesn't make sense to have this large. But okay, let's use 5 then. So this is with top sets is 1, having a 1 here, and then diagonally going like this, and we have every point is, well, this is just a table that we had. So yeah, remember the table. Here it is. So I printed this. Okay, so the 4 is too small. I want to see the other one as well. Print the last line. Let's make this 5. And then it prints the 15 and the 25 as well, and the 52. Yes. So that it's just the way it used to be. Because now we are using a huge number for this 5 here. Nevertheless, let's check the new table that I made first. Yeah, okay, maybe it's not interesting to subtract the top sets from it. Let's change that. Print. Oh, wrong file. I think 4 is correct. I just should have replaced all of it. I do not recognize the 175. partition task. Let's see XX 175. Oh, it is there. Oh, okay, I've got it. The 81 and 97 are recognized, but this was like, huh? So it prints this table, and now what happens if they reduce the number of sets to 4, then the 79 should disappear. In fact, it did already cut it off. So it's almost not really useful to test this. I want to see one line more and see the zeros on the other end. Yeah, I want to see the zeros, I think. I don't know how it calculated this. Let's see if it's correct. 27 plus 37 plus 12, 76. Okay, so apparently yeah, number of partitions being called and the sum is correct. I cannot imagine that there can be even a problem with this. We already see the cutoff and the sum is calculated correct, so I think this is everything we need. Yeah. Now I can still test it, I think. Well, yeah. Let's say, I mean, literally test the uniform distribution. I'll do that. Let's call random. That was a static function of this. It's not static. Okay, I need a partition task. Yeah, of course, I need to tell it how many elements there are. So we make it partition task. Yeah, and then just put it here. Nope, not like that. It's not random because our random is using the partition. It's using a seed. So let's remove the seed. And it's different every time. Now you see that it is limited to 4 sets. Isn't that nice? It's never generating anything that is has more than. But they need to be uniformly distributed. So I'm going to print, I don't know, 100,000. Is that enough? Let's do this 100,000 times. Was that 100,000 times? You're gonna be kidding me. Yep, that was. I'm gonna immediately go to 1 million because don't want to have to do anything with something that fast. Thank God, 1 million takes a whole second. Yeah, 1 million. Okay, true. And now we remove the first lines, so we have only our partitions. Let's remove the notice from it as well. Why not? Like this. Delete. One million partitions. And then I'm going to sort it. Sort troop. And then we can run it through unique with the C, and then to sort with an N. And then write it to troop 2. Yeah, well, you see that it's not even enough, 1 million. I mean, is 278, is that much less than 430, or is that explained by the randomness? So next thing we do is the exact same thing, but then we're 10 million. Just have to wait 10 seconds, can't help it. Yeah. So it's like a factor of 2 different, or what was it? Of course, I'm overriding the file, it could tell me. So before there was 4 something, and now it is 3 something, that got less. And this is, yeah, this is definitely uniform, right? They're much closer together now. So it's 33 100 and 37 100. Now I could even do it dramatically different. I mean, when I'm really testing this, I could, or should, test it with something that clearly shows me what it is. I'm gonna use 4 elements, 3 elements, why not? 3 elements and then, 4 elements. 4 elements and a maximum number of sets of 2. Totally uniform, right? Just the same amount for each. And we get indeed all possibilities with 2 sets. And also with 1 set. Put this one on the top. And then we do the ABCD. And what will be the next one? ABD. And then you get, I guess, this one. No, wait. A, B, C, D would be the next one. Then I'm missing one. Did I delete it? I deleted it. What the hell? Okay. Let's do this again. On the beginning. I'm sure that I didn't delete anything. So in total we have 8 of them. Let's put this on the top. And then D alone. And then D back and C alone. And then D with it. And then C and D back and B alone. And then D with the B. And then I guess this one. D back and C there, and then yeah. And it's uniform. I consider this fixed. Which leaves just one function, and that is this one. Oh, not that one. This one. I'm using a CMake. What I type are just bash aliases. Not sure what you mean with engine. Okay. I mean, people say, I'm not sure what you mean with, but they mean, and so did I. I have absolutely no clue what you mean with engine. This is a problem, like I explained in my previous stream. Explode explodes the number of sets, and then the subsequent algorithms put them together again. But what if we already have the maximum number of sets, or otherwise just go over the maximum, exploding it? I think that we just have to start with allowing the explode to happen, which means that I need a partition here that has no problem whatsoever with more than more than a maximum number of allowed sets, temporarily anyway. And see, because we call on partition, the result here, we call add to, and then we add a pair or a triplet to an empty set. So this adds it. Let's see how this function works. So this partition add to, simply assigns to it calls add on the set at that index. So the only thing that is required is that then the msets is large enough, so we could extend msets to have empty sets. But I'm using the size of msets now as the canonical, well, not canonical, but the size of msets should be equal to the number of the maximum number of sets, and I'm using that. So by incrementing the vector msets, the size of vector msets, I'm also automatically allowing more sets. I mean, the whole algorithm, everything is immediately adjusted, which you do not really want. But okay, I said temporarily, and I think then that's the only thing we can do. Now, where is the size of mset determined? I guess here. Although I'm kind of a little bit confused, I must say. This is just a copy constructor. Oh well, no, nothing to be confused about. This uses the copy constructor, which I didn't write. But the compiler generated it, and it will have just copied the msets, so the size of the vector is the same as the original. What I need now is to copy it with a larger number of sets. I have a default constructor here, can use that and then maybe call something else. Or I can make a copy constructor that is not really a copy constructor. I'm confused here, and I fixed that brute force thing, but I never fixed this. Where does this number of elements come from then? This is wrong. How can this be wrong and then brute force work? I don't get that. To look at it as well. Maybe I should do that now. I don't know. Before I forget it. Anyway, I'm going to copy one partition from another. Let's call that original, or right hand side maybe. No, original. And then I'm also going to pass the maximum number of sets. Let's begin implementing it here, so I can still see this, although it's not that difficult, I guess. So that would be msets. We copy original like as if it is a copy constructor, and the number of elements must definitely stay the same. But then I need msets to grow. Only support growing, I guess. No, let's choose this one. Yep. So this adds a bunch of empty sets, and it increases the number of allowed sets. That should work. Let me think. Well, I can even leave it here. It's not using the partition task. Okay, let me first look at this one. It's kind of strange. Pretty sure I'm using it somewhere in brute force, and I tested that. That worked. Number of elements. It got the number of elements from m number of elements. And that is initialized from, well, that's just initialized from the partition task. Pretty sure of that. So the number of elements gotten from the partition task. And when you create it, which is then again passed to the constructor of this partition. Apparently I do not need, well, I definitely do need that. I need the number of, what is it? I need the number of maximum allowed sets as well for partition constructor. That's what's going wrong here. Or I do not. No, I don't. No, I don't. The number of allowed sets is... Well, actually I do. Hidden in those things. Let me call that. Yeah, it's, of course, it's hidden in the size of m sets, right? So the size of m sets is equal to whatever the partition task tells us is the maximum number of sets. Also in this constructor. And then this constructor here suddenly doesn't. It's worse, it uses number of elements. It's definitely wrong. However, I guess it doesn't really matter, because the partition that I return then allows a number of element sets, but actually, this is, yeah, no, it's wrong. Definitely wrong. Definitely wrong. So the only way this can work is when I know the partition task, I'm afraid. We don't deal in number of elements, we deal in partition tasks. And then I guess this is simply the number of sets. Or it should have been anyway. That's how it should have been. Yeah. And which is very painful, at least cannot pass that to this thing. I think not. It's a dereference operator. So the partition iterator brute force thing must have a member. Partition task. Which means I might as well replace this here. With a call to the thing. Yeah. Right. It's a bit scary now, because we must be 100% sure that multi-loop is not going over this the size of sets. Well, yeah, it's not crashing, but we would lose elements if it did go over it. But since I already fixed brute force, I think that should work, right? It's not going over it. Yeah, the M loop value count has a size of the maximum number of sets, so that it works. Okay, and then I need to add this member. Well, that won't work. This one is not using it. You cannot initialize a reference without initializing it, using a reference without initializing it. So since we don't have a partition task here, the only thing we can really do is store a pointer and just keep it a null pointer for this case. I am going to pass a reference though, because I don't really want to work with pointers anywhere else. So that is a reference, but our partition task is a pointer. So let's take the pointer of the reference at that point, and then this now has a changed type. And here we have to dereference it again. I did make. I made a mistake. Invalid. A million, right? Still crashing? Not crashing. Why is it even compiling? Why is it even compiling? Okay, I forgot. Where is this function? Okay, no. Let's see here. VI exploded CXX. This one. Oh, we still have a copy constructor. We still have it, and it's okay as well, I think. I wanted to crash. Why is it not crashing? It still should crash, so I don't know. Totally should crash, man. Totally should crash. Now I have 8 elements, so we can explode it into 8 sets easily. Oh no, maybe not. Because I'm only splitting off triplets and pairs, and I'm leaving single elements and pairs alone. So I can only split triplets possibly into a single pair and a pair and a single element. So with 8, the largest thing that we could get if we start with this, then GH would be left alone, and this would be split up into, well, that's 5. It should crash. So this could explode into A, B, C, D, E, F, GH, which is 5 sets. That doesn't fit. Now it still could go. It still could work by coincidence, but if it doesn't crash, then at least I want to see an assert. And I think the problem is then in the fact that first empty set becomes too large. Do we have actual? Sets. Okay, we have a size of M sets. Yeah, the problem is then that M set is going to be the size of result dot M sets is going to be wrong in the add to. So I add an assert here that the set index must be less than M sets dot IND. Where M sets is, there's a vector, and there's a vector has an IND, I think, yeah, below here, which is just simply equal to the size of the vector. Now it better asserts, otherwise I really don't know what's going on. It does not assert. What the hell? Well, okay, it doesn't. So apparently, even going one back then, I would say we set it to 4, right? That means that this assert is also not going wrong. First empty set must be less than 4, so that it is 0, 1, 2 or 3. And that's where we add to. Otherwise it should go wrong. In this case I used a hard-coded 4, which is not possible. First empty set is a set index. Oh god. Array index, okay. Now how to do that one? Get value. Oh, okay. So for some mysterious reason, it says simply never exploding into 5 sets. Well, I guess that can happen. So if I increase this to 9, then it should happen, right? I mean, come on. Still not. Really? Are you kidding me? Finally! Okay, now we know that this happens, and let's be sure that it even reproduces. Yeah, it's just the same thing every time. And then of course the other assert also fires, right? Yep. Now let's add what it tries to explode, so that we can understand how it got there, I suppose. Boom, 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 boom. Let's just add here DC out, DC. Notice exploding result. So it's exploding this thing, and that goes wrong, and the reason is that well, it's going to split off FHJ or something like that, or maybe a pair. And from this one also, yeah, well, I could even make it one. No, it's only splitting off 2. Yeah, you have to start with 3, and it splits only off a single pair or triplet from each set. So this one becomes 2 sets, and this one becomes 2 sets. But why that didn't happen with one element less is absolutely beyond me. Pure coincidence, I guess. I don't know. Where am I? Oh yeah. Okay. Now we saw that. Now we can use this one here. I use a copy constructor that passes a maximum number of sets, and that allows it to be bigger. Namely, well, we could limit ourselves to the number of elements. Is there a way to get a number of elements from M original or anything? Yeah, well, from partition, I guess. The only thing we have here. Now we have also, okay, so let's look at number of elements. There we are. Or I can do twice the size of this thing. It's probably smaller. It's possibly smaller most of the time. Depends a bit. Twice that size. Could be larger. But it doesn't matter. Number of elements is good. How do I get the number of elements from a partition? Element I and returns it as a very annoying element index. Nah. I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot by now with all these all these indexes, different types, all the time, and then still having to deal with uint 8. It should have been element index everywhere. It's a bit dubious, you know. An index, when is an index equal to its size? Well, when it's the end. One past last element still has to be compared often with the index itself. So my I end is index end is equal to the size. So in the case that you have a vector or an array that takes an whatever index as an index, then its size can be expressed in that same type. But number of elements, that doesn't really sound like an index, does it? So that's why I'm using int 8 type. Yeah. Let's go back to that. An int 8 type. I'm surprised that it doesn't complain here about comparing a signed type with an unsigned type. Why am I not getting a warning about that? Why am I using an int? So this is, it counts the number of bits, so the largest value is 63 or 64. Can be signed, but could be unsigned. Right, so I'll just have to cast this somehow. Well, not really, but element index is what is being returned, which is an element type index, which is a bit set index, which is derived from an index POD, which has m index as an int 8 type, which is public. But this is protected. Oops. What we can convert it with operator parenthesis, I think. Yeah, operator parenthesis. From the index, from the element index, from the returned thing. So like that. We had something that crashed. Didn't change that. Now, well, crashed. It asserted and now it crashes. I think that's progress, believe it or not. The assert does not fill anymore, but now we're returning a partition that doesn't fit in something, or I don't know. Yeah, so now I have to go back here. So result now has a much more space for more sets. So this simply works. But we're not allowed to return it. We must return something that has the same size. Really same size, as in resize the msets vector, which we cannot do while we use more sets than allowed. let me try to get the maximum number of maximum number of sets. That would be this one. That type is a set index, array index. I can get that with the get value. So the problem is that something is larger than the maximum number of sets. Let's make it a const. There's something being well, the same thing, but then result. Wait, the other way around. Must be less than or equal. Assertion failed, yes. So now we got that with the assertion instead of the crash. But now how to fix it? I think I'm going to make a new function for it. As in the design trick, you assume that you have a function that already works, and then you design another function in terms of the function that doesn't exist yet. And if that's the same function as that you are writing at that moment, then you have an iterative solution. But it works as well. Works definitely as well. If it is not iterative, I mean, if you're writing function XYZ, you're still writing it, then it's not written yet. But you can implement XYZ in terms of XYZ. Anyway, assuming XYZ already works, you know. So that's the trick. Now in this case I'm going to assume that the following function exists and already works. Yeah, I just have to no if, I just have to call the function. It's a bit simplistic one, But now this function is done, right? It works. So this function reduces the number of sets in result to maximum number of sets. Then of course this is equal. It's not even less, it must be equal. But then again, the way I'm implementing reduced sets is such that it is kind of ridiculous to have that as what is going to be fixed. Okay, but this file is partition iterator explode, and now we should move this not here. I should move this to partition .cxx, which is here. Let's put it somewhere at the bottom, I guess. Find local maximum. Okay. This function should end with resizing m sets, but not just like that, because then we throw away elements. So we first have to merge the elements. Yes, it is. Sort of a game engine based on the Vulkan API, which is successor of OpenGL. But I'm working on a sub-problem that is even so sub-problem-ish that it has its own project. So this project in itself has nothing to do with Vulkan. Now I hope to return to that tomorrow, to the Vulkan engine, if I can get this to work. Today, well, that's going to be hard. It's almost midnight. Well, 15 minutes. Give myself 45 minutes, and then it should either be fixed or not gonna happen. Let's add the declaration to partition. Okay, I have an idea. I'm just going to run algorithm 0 on it, aka whole set. Yeah. No man, I'm writing a Vulkan engine. So nothing to do with Second Life. Although you could write a Second Life viewer on top of it. I don't think I'm going to do that. No time for it for a start. BHD asks, what does the arrow do in programming languages? Well, I don't know. It does something in C++. But it calls the arrow operator or something like that. It returns a pointer. What is the volume of the music too loud? It's already pretty damn soft. I never put it lower than this. Lower than this. Never. Okay, let's see. What is this then? How are we going to do this? So I have an algorithm here that is called partition iterator all set. Which can be constructed from a partition, aka our result. And then we can use the interface of the base class. Why is this kickstart not private? Let's see what the hell is that being called. It's called from the constructor of partition iterator. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's just make this a friend or something. Or rather use, I'm using utils anyway already, right? Pass a badge to it. Only this thing should call it. Huh? Oh, it's inline. Well, Aprilia 84. Welcome. Special view, I will explain what badge is. I stole it from the internet. It's not even mine. But I give them credit. The idea is as follows. You have a class which you can pass a number of type names. And all the types that you pass to it are made a friend. So in this case, I only pass partition iterator, so partition iterator is made a friend. Well, this guy only allows a single type, I think, and I expanded it a bit, but batch here is private. So by default, class is private, so everything is private, including the constructor. So nobody can construct this batch except the friends. And then the trick is, I have this function and I'm adding an argument that says utils batch with the guy that is allowed to call kickstart. Now nobody can call kickstart anymore because nobody can create this batch. I mean, it's a type by itself. It's not just batch, it's batch partition iterator. The only way to create a batch partition iterator object, which you then can pass, whatever, or you can pass two braces, and then that is used as a for the default to default construct this argument. Is partition iterator. So now we made it sort of private function. Nobody can call it except partition iterator. How cool is that? Well, it gets cooler. The way you call it is then by passing something that looks like a batch. So this is just, you know, an empty initializer list, and that is passed. It looks up kickstart and it says, well, I need a batch. A batch has a default constructor, so I can use the default constructor to go from this empty initializer list to the argument that kickstart needs. Okay, so sometimes I don't, you know, you cannot make something private, or sometimes even batch is better than private. I mean, it's better than making it private and then adding a friend, because if you add a friend, usually it really has to be a whole class, then that class has access to everything, not just this function. And we're using the batch trick. You give it only access to this function, so it's better than the private public stuff. When I explained it to someone else or showed it to someone else who's more into C++, they called me a control freak. But okay, that guy hated me anyway. So I'm not really taking it seriously. He was just meaning it personally. Thank you, Sand. You too. A Vulkan engine is an engine that makes Vulkans. What else could it be? Sorry, I'm just getting tired of the FAQ question. What is a Vulkan engine? But I'll blame YouTube. Loads of changes. Nobody knows what, where or what. Still this one, right? Well, not really. Reduce sets, make C tags, did not get highlighted. Now it is. Reduce sets must be implemented. It's not yet. Okay, there we are. So I have a partition iterator hold set, which can be constructed from a partition. So let's pretend we're going to use this. I'm not sure yet. Let's call it iter. And construct it from this. And then I can call the original partition, or I can call I begin and I end to run over all the elements, or I can. Well, this is used by the base class. I should not touch that, I think. Oh, this is the base class. These could use a batch as well, because the whole from to and from set is really only used by the add to. Remove from and add to. I don't know, something. Set to end is and increment. Moved elements unequal, print on. Yeah, it's just increment. I was looking at that and see it. How to use this? What? I need a dereference operator. Am I not? Ridiculous. Okay, I'm kind of lost here. I guess that's used in partition. This is the one, partition iterator. Yeah, that partition iterator sneaky has a base class pointer, which is not really base class anymore. It's a unique pointer. It's more like a virtual base class now. Although I'm not using it that way. No, it's not. It's a unique pointer. I don't know. Forget it. Anyway, this is where my dereference operator is, and the pre-increment operator. So creating that thing, what I did is not correct. We need a partition iterator. This is not correct. I need a partition iterator. And I think that works by calling of that. Well, actually, partially. You have to pass it as a something like that, yeah. And then some begin here. Let me find it. It should be part of partition, I guess. Well, I don't know. Here it is. Yeah, it is just this begin. So I get a partition iterator by calling begin, passing the algorithm as a template parameter. That's exactly what I did here. And this is a partition object already, so I can just call begin. Now we have our partition iterator whole set iterator. So I can print, say, the dereferenced value. You can make that into a for loop. Well, theoretically, like that. Iter is unequal end or whatever, plus iter, and then print it in the normal way, except this is not working the normal way a bit. Or is it? Let's go to next. It is. Apparently it is. We have an operator unequal here. So able to compare with the end. Still need my end then, of course. I think end is simply end. We have begin and end, except that end doesn't care about the algorithm. The out entering. Let's print the actual partition. And let's halt here. See, so this thing is called with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets, and it tries to merge combination of sets. So this first one, it has a BE merged into ADI, and here the CG was added, and here the F was added, and here the HJ was added, and then it merges BE with the CG and so on. So everything is merged, ends with merging those two. In other words, after a single run, we have one less set. But we might have to reduce the number of sets like to the half, and that would be, yeah, I don't know. Optimal would be, I guess, to just merge again and then just find the one with the best score. But suppose we have 26 of these things and we want to reduce it. No, I think it's not possible. You can have at most twice the maximum allowed. So the maximum allowed value is 16, so we have, say, 32, and we want to reduce it to 16. And this list is going to be very long. Cannot even do 2 of them. Nah, yeah. We'll probably have to just run over it and pick the best one and then do it again instead of do 2 loops. I don't know what to do. In fact, Nikon FPV. Well, thank you, but is that really a right assessment then? That you cannot understand what I'm doing? You cannot figure out what you're trying to do? It doesn't necessarily mean that that what I'm doing is a crazy piece of art. Well, crazy maybe. Well, I'm just thinking here, you know, I want to reduce the number of sets. So if we have a lot of sets, I can just combine sets with each other, because before I would, the first thing I would do would combine sets until I reach a local maximum, and then I would start to move single elements until we have a local maximum, and then every time I do an improvement, I do that again until both combining sets and moving single elements do not give an improvement, and then I scatter it again. But scattering, it gives me more sets than allowed, so now I want to combine sets until we drop below and then the number of allowed sets, not below, but get that number again. And I don't know. It feels like I should just run my find local maximum on it first. Yeah, that's what I should do. That should do first, I think. Yeah, I can find local maximum on a partition, which is what I would normally do. So why not do that? I do need a copy then of the partition task, but I think I already have that, don't we? At least in the partition iterator explode.cxx. Don't have it. I think I'm just going to change this thing. It is not an iterator anyway. Let's remove this and call it get partition. Oh. So now I can pass the partition task to this function, but then of course I have to call it. So let's see what that was. Right, quit all. Where that's being used. Yeah, Vulkan is the successor of OpenGL. But I'm not working on the Vulkan engine directly now. I'm working on an algorithm that I need in the Vulkan engine. Need between quotes. We're just having fun, basically. Cannot convert to int. Reduce sets is not fixed yet. It's in partition, right? Partition.h. Reduce sets. Okay, so now we crashed on the false assert, and before that it prints out well, that it entered the reduce sets with the whole state. It's not really interesting to print partition task, I guess. Yeah, so nothing changed since the last output, the last run. What I really wanted to do now was run the full algorithm on it. No, get the find local maximum. Yeah, I already had that in my mouse buffer, but that was long gone now. This one, for example, with this one, doesn't really matter. Yeah. This is blowing up my CPU again, I think. So what I'm doing here is running over 100 randomly generated partitions. Then we find the local maximum using 2 algorithms alternating until neither algorithm can improve anymore. Then I'm trying to scatter the partition that got out of the local maximum. Exploded, I mean, I renamed that. And it runs over a number of a total loop count limit. I think there's 100 or so. So the first 100 exploded partitions, and finds the one with the largest score. And then you return to the top, and then we run the two algorithms again. Well, that's not true. Suddenly see here another random. No, here, sorry. So we scatter, okay, it's not that bad. So we scatter it, and then it's still called scatter here, that's why I said it. Explode. Whatever. So we exploded, and then we find again a new local maximum. However, now this partition is limited to a maximum number of sets, and explode normally explodes is way beyond whatever you inputted into it, so it could get too large. So what I now want to do is run find local maximum on it, allowing more sets, but then inside get partition. Get what I mean? So instead of returning it to something that is limited to a maximum number of sets, I run it, I explode it to whatever sets it wants to be exploded to, and then we run find local maximum on that first. So this is really the line that follows that one. So copying that. Let's say make C tags VI. So the get partition now calls that first on result. It gives us some score, but not sure we can ignore it or not. Now this local maximum could of course still have too many sets, so I still have to call reduce after that. But it might be a little bit better, because at least it's a local maximum. So I think that the explode might, generate really a lot of sets, and then just running the normal find local maximum would probably clump it together a bit again. And then reduce sets, yeah. Well, Philip Para asked, what's the point of this project? Did you ever Did you ever hear of Freud? Der good Dr. Freud, yeah? No, I'm kidding. Of course it's not to generate 3D porn. Of course not. It's for a game. I'm kidding again. I'm just tired of the explaining things more than once. I'm afraid. I'm such a bad teacher. I've explained the partition so often that if a single guy asks, please explain partitions to me, I'm making fun of them by now. I'm an asshole, I know. You have no idea. Comes with creativity, I think. That is what I did in Second Life, by the way. Being using creative humor. One of the reasons I left is that it seemed that I was the only one capable of doing it, a part of maybe 2 others, 3 that I over the years met. But it's amazing how limited a lot of people are in their communication. Or maybe they just can't type fast enough. That's a possibility. You know those conversations where everyone is just typing a sentence of 2 or 3 words? And I'm like typing a whole sentence almost as fast as I can speak. So for me, yeah, I don't know. I see something happening in the virtual world and then I make a joke about it. It's creative, it has a double, what's a double bodem in English? I don't know. Multiple meanings. I like complex jokes, say, but it still must be instantly clear what you mean. It's like blinding flash in your mind when you hear it. And then you have to laugh, because you understand what I mean. For example, a bunch of my friends once teleported, yeah, you can do that in Second Life, teleport. We teleported to a random island in order to, I don't know, have an adventure. And the fucking island was completely empty. Not only was it empty, it was for sale. So it was detected by some kind of invisible object with a script in it that we teleported there. And within seconds, maybe 10 seconds, a lady popped out of nowhere. She teleported there as well. Who was, you know, what do you call that? The real estate agent who wanted to sell us that virtual island. So she popped out of the air in front of us and she said, well, are you interested in buying this land? So yeah, nobody said anything. So I guess I was the only one talking, but I said something like, well, maybe. You know, you just ask some questions about it as if it was a real island. Where the lake came from, was an old volcano or something there. And then I just looked around a bit and said, I have to say, you know, there's no trees here. Why are there no trees? Well, you can plant trees, blah, blah, blah. You know, she was like completely not into any role. She was just wanting money. And then I said, wait a minute. Shh, everyone, shut up. Do you hear this? Yeah. My friends know how I joke, so they at least replied in this case. They said, no, I don't hear anything. I don't hear any birds. Well, without trees, that's logical, but I don't even hear any insects. And then look at that hole. There was in the middle of the island, there was a hole with water in it. So I was like, and I took out my Geiger counter, which I had in my inventory, and it says tick, 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 tick. And they said, this lady is trying to sell us a nuclear test island, test sim. Something like that. Haha. Well, I guess, yeah, you need to have used the Second Life to understand that it is funny. Shotgun says, Carlo, how did you pick your YouTube PFP? PFP. Profile picture. What a weird abbreviation there. Didn't I teach you never to abbreviate anything? I don't know, randomly, man. It's just a scary looking robot. I mean, I felt... I cannot find a word. My jokes are failing if I cannot rapidly find the right words. I wanted to say something like I associated myself with it immediately. So I saw that picture and I say, oh, yes, this is me. Let's use it as a picture, as a profile picture. Yeah, and of course I'm just joking, but not really. That's the fun of it. You never know when I'm serious, except that I'm never serious. Bear. Maybe we should make an exception in terms of kicking people out when they start talking about Rust. No, I'm just kidding. I have to continue coding because it's midnight and I still haven't finished it. So it is probably not going to succeed either. So we run this, and then I need to run this, and this is going to run partition. Yeah, we just have to run this algorithm. Oh, how is this working? I think I can just copy it from max score. I meant from main. Oh, you could just use this and jump to main. How about that? Stopwatch. Wait, next. Partitions. This main. Actually, find local maximum. There we are. Maybe it should just pass the maximum number of pass. It already has partition task. Maybe it should change find local maximum to limit itself to a certain number of sets. I think that is pretty close to an answer here. So algorithm 0 is the partition iterator whole set. So I could run that once and then we run partition single element. I just continue with doing that until we have no improvement. And then if the number of sets of the local maximum is larger than the number of sets in the partition task, we scrutinize it again, I guess. Really scrutinize it. How? I think there's a sort of a solution here. Yeah, I'm gonna implement it in this thing, which means that this whole function can be removed, except that msets resize still must be called. And that kind of sucks. So instead, we're just not calling this. here, but we're calling it inside reduce sets. Still needed. Maybe unused. It's just fucking unused, man. Okay, that's the keyword they want. Actually, I could even do the resize inside find local maximum while I am at it. I'm not sure anymore. I'm not sure what to do. Nah, I don't want to use this score. Let's set the score to minus infinity and then find something that is better using the whole set. So at least we have a one less. That is, if the number of sets is larger. How can I get the number of sets again? Over partition. That's the size of M sets. Yes. No. I have to look at the first empty set. Partition. First empty set. Boom. It's just one less, man. Definitely one less. Absolutely 100% one less. Okay, suppose a fast return, let's say maximum number of sets is 4 and the first empty set is at index 5. That would correspond to, say, A, comma, B. Let's see, it's just different sets again. I don't know, man. No, well, yeah, let's write them like the other output. So this is a partition and it contains a few sets. And I don't know, empty sets. So then the first empty set would be here. And that is in 0, 1, 2, 3. And let's say the maximum number of sets is well, 2. Then we have to run the algorithm once, because then we combine A and B, say, and then we end up with 2. So if fetch is 3 and number of sets, so it's fetch minus that, that's the number of times you have to run it. But if the maximum number of sets is larger than fetch, well, then this becomes negative, so that works. But does it become negative? Well, the maximum number of sets is an int. Why is this suddenly returning an int? I thought it changed everything to int 8 type. Not that it matters, but it's confusing, I think. I like using int 8 type now, even though int would work as well. Just so I can see what it is. Maybe I should use using, but on the other hand, you know, let's not get tempted to store larger values in it, because in the end it has to fit in a byte. Well, we can go a little bit negative in a signed byte, int 8 type. That should work as long as fast is then also an int. I'm just gonna use a int type here as well. Int, just int type, int 8 type. Hey, Redson is going to bed. I should too. Hi, shotgun. No S, please. Shotgun. Not anymore. I played Doom and Quake, but it's a long time ago. I'm not really into playing games. Multiple reasons. I think the main reason is that well, I have a few on Steam now, yeah. But let's say a while back, 10 years, 20 years ago, it was just not possible on Linux. And for a long time I had a very serious repetitive stress injury, so I wanted to stay away from anything that used the mouse a lot, which is basically all games. That's why I dedicated myself at some point to games on my tablet, where I only seldom had to lift my arm. Nikon FPV, how long are you in C++? 28 years. Yeah, I should go to bed, right? It's almost working. If I run this often, let's not find the minimum yet, but simply am I completely crazy now? simply set the current thing to ether. And then break. So I just take the first one. At the very least now we reduce the number of sets, right? Because I did this thing has one so it has one set less. So and we do that the fast minus partition task maximum number of sets times, therefore if fast is larger then we do that to reduce it. AKA could add an assert here that now first empty set get value is less than or equal, I guess, maximum number of sets. Yes, I do. Well, I use the voice morpher in Second Life to sound even younger. Fortunately, that broke at some point. What exactly went wrong? Let's see. This. What is this connection here? Huh? Not that I'm looking at it. It's kind of strange that it reconnected itself. It's normally not connected. In between here I had something which is not working anymore. It's gone. Otherwise I could let you hear how my voice sounds when it goes through this. But oh well. It's some kind of Windows audio module, so it was running in Wine. I mean, it's like a DLL, which then has to be plugged into, and I didn't understand it at all. Someone on the Second Life who was very smart figured it out, and he helped me get it to work. But now it's broken, I don't know anymore how to get it to work. C. No, C is not hard at all. So this kind of works already, right? Doesn't it? I mean, it's not really finding a good partition, but at least it reduces the number of sets. Let's run this, see if it still crashes or something. Score is not used indeed, and I don't even want to use it. Can I not just call it like this and ignore the score? Oh, it compiled. This looks a very uninitialized shit to me. Totally not what we want. Certainly not a negative count. all of them look pretty funny, as in we don't have a score at all. But Nah, it's a bigger mess. I've never seen a bigger mess. What the hell did it do? You have duplicated. I think that my bit sets are just the bit sets are random because I have all kinds of characters in it. It looks like a random bit sets, 64 bit sets. Okay, I have to stop, guys. It's just too late, so I'll continue tomorrow with this. I think I'm gonna fix it tomorrow, finish this, and then the day after that I can go back to the Vulkan engine. I agree with Ether. It's just a language, and therefore there's no language that's better, because all languages are equal. But maybe one language is not suited for some people. I think this is my only arrogant idea about the issue. That if C++ is so powerful that if that's too difficult for certain people, then they might prefer another language. No, it's not really true. I think that C++ is definitely special in the way that it requires an incredible amount of basic code at the basis of your project. If you write a project in C++, you cannot do anything until you wrote thousands of lines of code for the basis, as it were. So it's very slow. You need more lines of code, and it is very slow in development. And then I just do that, but the problem is that if you have deadlines, so professional coders, they don't have time for that, really. So they try to take shortcuts. They don't write that basis that they need in C++. And then you get shitty code. So then you can argue maybe they should not have used C++ because they don't have the time for it to use it in an appropriate way. You call it boilerplate. Yeah, that's a good word. I guess the best example that I have of C++ needing a lot of boilerplate is that in the last 20 years, and certainly in the last 12 years, I have done nothing else but writing boilerplate for general programs. Just my GitHub. My GitHub repositories. A lot of them are just the boilerplate stuff that you need. I kept coding and kept coding and I never gave any end to it. What I thought was this is my thing. What is it doing here? Good. Okay. I don't know. It's only the test suits here. Okay, I'm stopping the stream. Someone asked you to explain what Vulkan is. www.vulkan.org. Just a wild guess. Learn porting events news made with Vulkan. I think they're not explaining what it is. Tutorials maybe? Beginner resources. I don't know. Nope, it's not explaining it, sorry. Oh, here it says. Vulkan is a cross-platform industry standard enabling developers to target a wide range of devices with the same graphics API. I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, I really could not have. And then I put pictures in it of games, so I guess, wow, that looks good. Impressive. Yeah, so I guess it's again a game. Game engine comes pretty damn close. If you look at the pictures they added here. Made with Vulkan. Yeah, another picture game. Carlo Woods Vulkan engine. No, does not mention it. Disappointed. No, not really.